Today we will discuss about the Microsoft.NET glossary. Okay, and the first one that we are looking at today is A1, the bundle of Microsoft antivirus and anti-spyware development lines. And then second one, Abstract ILX, a toolkit for accessing the contents of .NET Common IL libraries. Among its features, it lets you transfer the binaries into structured abstract syntax tree that can be manipulated. And then we have to discuss about the Equalization Server 2000. For that we will see in the Internet Security and Equalization Server 2000. And then we have to discuss about the access modifiers, languages keyword used to specify the visibility of the methods and member variables declared within a class. The 5 access modifiers in the C language we are having. First of all, we are having the public, and then second one private, and then third one protected, and then fourth one internal, and then fifth one we are having the protected internal. Now we will discuss about the acrylic, codename for an innovative illustration, painting and graphics tool that provides creative capability for designers working in printer, web videos and interactive media. And then we have to discuss about the Active Server Page, ASP, a Microsoft technology for creating server-side web-based application services. ASP applications are typically written using a script language such as JScript and VBScript or Perl script. ASP first appeared as part of Internet Information Server 2.0 and was code named Denali. And then we have to discuss about the ADO, ActiveX Data Objects, a set of components used to access data objects through an OLEDB provider. ADO is commonly used to manipulate data in database such as Microsoft SQL Server 2000, Oracle and Microsoft Access. Now we will discuss about the ADO.NET ActiveX Data Objects for .NET, the set of .NET classes and data providers used to manipulate databases such as Microsoft SQL Server 2000. ADO.NET was formerly known as ADO Plus, and then ADO.NET can be used by any .NET language. Arrow, the code name for the user experience provided by Microsoft Longhorn operating system. Okay, and then we have to discuss about the API, the application program interface, a set of programs, code library or interfaces used by developers to interact with a hardware device, network operating system, and then software library or applications. Call to the methods of an API are typically synchronized, but may also be asynchronized through the use of callback methods. And then application assembly cache that we will see in the local assembly cache. Now we will discuss about the application base, the directory where a .NET application assembly files are stored, also called the application folder or application directory. And then we will discuss about the Application Center 2000, a development and management package for website, web services and COM components. Application Center is a key B2B and B2C, component of the .NET Enterprise Server product family. And then we will discuss about the application domain, the logical and physical boundary created around every .NET application by the CLR. The CLR can allow .NET application to be run in a single process by loading them into separate application domains. The CLR isolate each application domain from all other application domains and prevent the configuration, security or stability of a running .NET applications from affecting other applications. Objects can only be moved between application domains by the use of remoting. Now we will discuss about the application manifest. The part of an application that provides information to describe the components that the application uses. And then we will discuss about the array, a collection of objects of the same type, all of which are referenced by a single identifier and indexer. In the .NET framework, all arrays inherit from the array classes that is located in the system namespace. And then we have to discuss about the ASML and abstract state machine language. And then we will discuss about the ASP.NET active server page for .NET. And then we have to discuss a set of .NET classes which used to create web-based client-side web forms and server-side web services applications. And application.asp.NET was derived from the Microsoft Active Server page ASP web technology and adapted from using the .NET framework, also called Managed ASP and formerly known as ASP+. Now we will discuss about the assembly. All of the files that comprise a .NET application included the resources, security management, versioning, sharing, development information, and the actual MSIL code executed by the CLR. An assembly may appear as a single DLL or EXE file or as multiple files and is roughly the equivalent of a COM module. And then we will see in the assembly manifest, private assembly, and then shared assembly. Okay, now we will discuss about the assembly binding log viewer, a .NET programming tool. fuslogvw.exe used to weave and manipulate the log of binding information that is updated at runtime when an assembly is loaded by the CLR. This log viewer is primarily used to discover why an assembly or satellite assembly can't be located at runtime and to verify that the correct assemblies are being loaded by a .NET application. Now we will discuss about the assembly cache, a reserved area of memory used to store the assemblies of a .NET application running on a specific machine that we will see in the global assembly cache, and then local assembly cache, and then download cache. After that we have to discuss about the assembly cache viewer, a .NET programming tool shfusion.dll used to weave, add, remove, and configure information in the global assembly cache using Windows, Explorer, This viewer is used to click on the %win dir assemblies folder in the Window Explorer that we will see inside the Global Assembly Cache utility. And then we have to discuss about the assembly dependencies list. Okay, and now we have to discuss about this. A .NET programming tool, a depends.exe used to display all of the assemblies that a specific assembly is dependent upon.